Hi everyone, and welcome to the Soul Illumination reading for the sign of Sagittarius. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for Soul Illumination. So hi everyone and welcome. That's what we're going to be looking at in today's reading for you, Sagittarius. We're going to be looking at what your soul would most like to illuminate for you at this time. Now we'll dive a little deeper into that theme once it comes up here. And we'll take a look at a block or a challenge. We'll get advice from Spirit as to how to overcome that block. And then we'll look at the level of abundance or spiritual growth that's waiting to come in on the other side of that for you. Okay. All right. Oh, very interesting. So I just want to preface this reading with I don't put reversals in my decks. I don't work with them in that way. But when a card does come up reversed, I definitely will keep it that way because I do feel like it is a very specific message from Spirit here. So, all right, Sagittarius. Now, we have the energy that you're coming in or sitting with right now in this reading is the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands is one where you've come a long way. It's almost like where we're sitting with our battle scars a little bit, reflecting on all the obstacles, all of the lessons we've had to learn, but more than anything, all of those difficult moments we've had to kind of persevere through. And there's a sense of taking that pause and almost having to catch your breath and be like, oh, this was tough. That was difficult kind of feeling when this is an internal energy like that. And it can sometimes feel like we're getting the courage to kind of stand up and keep going. It could also be where we're sitting with that energy or the feeling of, I don't know if I can keep going, or I don't know if I want to. Now, what Spirit is illuminating for you right now is the Five of Swords and the Ten of Cups, which for some of you, what this could represent is a sense of either defending an outlook where you don't feel like you are deserving of your Ten of Cups, which in the tarot represents a little bit of everything your heart yearns for brought together into the physical plane of experience. So meaning it, but where you get to experience it through the emotional plane, through your heart's fulfillment. And there's a sense with the Ten of Cups upside down that there's a sense of that not being in place. Now that could be where you are openly with the Five of Swords pushing away, kind of fighting with yourself or with others, that sense of either defending that, again, you'll never have your true Ten of Cups because somehow it's turned in the other direction. This could be where maybe you are sacrificing something in your happiness or something that your heart yearns for, and you are sitting here saying, well, it's just never going to happen. You know, I'm just never going to find the love of my life, and that's just the way it's going to be. Because, man, that could be directly tied to the Nine of Wands, where it's like, man, I'm so exhausted. I've been through so many terrible relationships, and so I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't fight one more battle. I can't go into one more horrible relationship. It can be this in any aspect of what feels like a heart's fulfillment for you, where this could be where other people are like, you always talk about how you always wanted to travel and you grumble all the time about where you live. Have you thought about, changing up your lifestyle and maybe selling the house, or maybe not renting and just, being a nomad for a little bit? And you're like, no, that just can't happen. Like, my life is too stressful. I can barely pay my rent as it is. And so, I'm not even going to look at that. Because that's what the Five of Swords really represents. I'm not going to look at that. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to keep arguing this point at all cost. And I guess what I'd ask yourself to really look at, Sagittarius, when you're sitting there, because your soul is highlighting this energy for you. So there's some aspect in your experience where you are fighting against something your soul yearns for, or you're fighting to maintain something that truly doesn't bring you happiness. And now that can literally be from a place of, because I can't keep going, or because I'm tired, or because I know it will become an obstacle. There's this weary, wounded warrior feeling that comes through here. And it's like, I can't go through that again. But yet here in your underlying energy, we have the Six of Swords. And the beauty of the Six of Swords is that the Six of Swords energy is one of moving on. It's one of going from choppy waters to calmer waters. It's also one where we get to transcend limitations on the mental plane that we thought we would never be able to move past. Maybe finally moving on from that past terrible relationship, that past ex that kind of tainted your view of every other relationship after that, or finally moving on from even a way of living your lifestyle, moving on from the fact that you felt like you were never going to be able to make enough money, or moving on from the fact that you always thought you were going to be living in one location for the rest of your life. But there's a sense of finally moving on. Now, underneath that, there is the Eight of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles. Now, this can represent working really hard towards getting to a level of financial or physical independence, meaning you've put your head down and you did the work. You saved, you got the degree, you worked your butt off in your job, and you perfected a skill set, and you achieved that, the Nine of Pentacles. But the Nine of Pentacles is a beautiful energy to sit in. It is one of independence. It's one usually where you have the opportunity to really enjoy the fruits of your labor, but it can also become a gilded cage. It can also be where we have now put ourselves into that comfort zone, and we are afraid to leave that, even if something truly is missing with the Five of Swords and the Ten of Cups turned upside down. There's a sense of, even if something's truly missing, even if you look out of the gates of your walled garden that seems so beautiful with your beautiful home in the middle of it, that you might look out and say, but my heart is yearning for something else. This could be where, for some of you, you worked really hard maybe to come back from a very difficult relationship. Maybe you had to gain your independence. And now there's that sense of, but I really would love to share this with somebody. And yet there's that fear that creeps in. This could be where you worked really hard at your career, and it's kind of like the feeling of it's lonely at the top, and you really want to maybe engage in other activities in your life. Maybe now it's like, yeah, I just dedicated 30 years of my life to this business, and I want to do what I want to do for myself now. My heart yearns to be free to travel. My heart yearns to be free to write the novel I never got a chance to. But there's this element of fear of, it was exhausting for me to get to this point. Do I really want to go out there and try again? Or do I really want to put myself in a position? This is sitting in the Nine of Wands. The danger with the Nine of Wands is that the beauty of it is seeing how far you've come, seeing how you went through all those obstacles or all those times that kind of were there to knock you down and you got back up again. But the other side to that is when we look at everything up around the bend, not with curiosity, not with optimism, not with, I can't wait to see what's out there. It's, I know I don't want to see what's out there because I know it's going to just be another battle. I don't want to go around the bend because I'm afraid of what's waiting for me on the other side. So there's definitely a sense, a chance that to move on from something that is directly tied to a level perhaps of unhappiness, of discontent, or that feeling that something is currently missing from your life. And moving on from, I often find when we go from the Eight to the Nine of Pentacles, there can be something, a catalyst in our life that is difficult, that forces us to get to that kind of laser focus of, okay, I got to go back to the books. This can be something like where, let's say maybe you did go through a breakup or a divorce and you realize, oh my gosh, yep, I got to get back out there and bust my butt to maybe regain the lifestyle or the bank account or the home that I lost in that. It can be the same thing. You might have gotten let go from a job and you realize, holy cow, I need to go back to school. In order for me to be competitive, I have to go back and get another degree. There's something like that here. And so there seems to be that whatever you had worked on for a long time and achieved a level of success, it was probably on the heels of something that was very difficult, a catalytic moment. And even though now you are in a place where you're, probably doing very well for yourself, there's a sense that there's something missing. There's a sense that your soul is calling you to the next adventure. And why do I say that? Because we're about to enter your season, Sagittarius. And one of the cards that represents your energy in the tarot is the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands is the hopeful, optimistic adventurer. He wants to go out there. He wants to experience life. He wants to see, not just think about what he's passionate about. He wants to go out there and burn with that passion. Now, your main point of challenge here is the Queen of Wands with Justice. The Queen of Wands, talk about somebody burning with passion. She is someone who literally is like the witch. I like to look at her as the witch archetype in the tarot. She sits there and she holds her wand of what she's passionate about. She shows up to the party. I always kind of like, especially in this image here with this deck, it makes me think of the Scarlet character from Gone with the Wind. When she shows up and opens that door and in comes her, all heads turn. And there's a sense here, Sagittarius, that is what you're yearning for. There's a sense of yearning for that burning with the passion. Ooh, lots of cards coming out here. And with Justice, there's also a sense of divine balance coming through. There could also be possibly the making or breaking of a contract, because that's what Justice can speak to as well. But I'm getting the feeling now, for a very few of you, there could be a sense here with Justice and the Queen of Wands that there's maybe been an imbalance in your life. There could be where, again, this part of yourself had to be kind of suppressed or repressed. Repressed, yeah, is that a word? Yes. But I think more than anything, suppressed as you were kind of going. It's almost like your fire got a little taken away as you were going through something difficult in your life, or just really focusing on something in your life, building something. And this part of yourself that just really wants to come to the party, show up as you are, bloom where you're planted. There's a sense where something in your life got out of balance because of what you were focusing on. And now it's almost like your soul is calling you back to say, to bring something into balance in your life, you have to show up. You have to bring your A game. You have to bring your passion. Now, this could also be for some of you where you may be dealing, so this is a card of Aries as well. The Queen of Wands represents that. So there could be an Aries in your life where there is something around a contract that needs to be released. It could be a boss. It could be a marital contract. It could be something along those lines. It could also be where maybe this is a part of yourself. Maybe you have Aries in your chart. And there's something here around bringing balance to that part of yourself. When you think about the Queen of Wands too, she is a feminine energy. So there's this sense of really getting into that place of receiving, of coming with your A game to everything, leading from a place of passion, but being ready to experience what the world will give to you. I really get the feeling here, Sagittarius, that this has been a time of pushing, a time of having to, and this doesn't just mean just recently, this could be having been years of having to push yourself, years of having to grow and commit to something. And there's a sense now of, maybe you were sitting a lot in your masculine energy, and there's a sense now of really kind of switching that up and almost becoming like the beacon to start to draw things to you. When we think about receptive energy and the feminine energy, it's not about just sitting and waiting for something to change in your life. It's about, by you committing more fully to being you, you draw the circumstances to you. You get the right people to knock on your door. You turn the right head. Somebody walks by and sees that beautiful garden you planted outside, and they're like, "Oh, I love gardening too. Let's garden together." Something like that. There's a sense with the Justice of, again, kind of rebalancing an aspect of your life, and most likely rebalancing the feminine energy with probably a kind of overexerted masculine energy. Now, the heart of your reading, what Spirit is asking you really to look at right now to help you kind of overcome maybe this fear of really looking at some aspect of your life that your heart is yearning to experience joy and fulfillment in, is looking at the Two of Pentacles. Where are you hiding in your day-to-day? The Two of Pentacles is where we are literally just kind of juggling those small day-to-day tasks. And this can be where sometimes we get stuck in that, wake up, go to work, fall asleep, and do it all over again. And there can be a sense of, okay, having to maintain the status quo. We all have to juggle our day-to-day tasks, but there can also be that sense of, are you feeling emotionally connected to your day-to-day tasks? Everything you're doing, is there that feeling of joy? Is there that feeling of, I'm coming home to cook a meal because I want to nourish myself and I'm taking the time to do that, or I'm cooking the meal for my family and the joy I see on their faces is enough for the exhaustion that I feel of having to have gone through to the store and go home and make the meal and all of that. Am I paying the bills on a home I love living in? There's that sense of really being clear as to, are you bringing your fire into the day-to-day experience? Are you bringing your passion? Are you blooming where you're planted? Or are you just hiding in the comfort zone of the Nine of Pentacles, where you're like, but everything's good now, so I'm just gonna, it's almost like when we get to the Nine of Pentacles, there's that plateau of like, oh, I can finally take a breath. Things are good. Got the reward for the hard work, but there's the ultimate reward, which is the Ten of Pentacles. And there's still, as always indicates, there's one more pentacle left to go out and discover in your life to get to that ultimate fulfillment in the physical that you're seeking, that ultimate legacy. And with the Two of Pentacles, this can often speak to also needing to make a decision between which pentacle to prioritize, which seed do I focus on planting instead of just juggling the two. And that one pentacle could end up being the 10th pentacle. So keep that in mind as well. Now, on the other side of this, what's waiting to come in for you, you have the Princess of Cups, which is the Page of Cups in this deck, and we have the Three of Swords. So there's a sense of, almost for many of you, allowing your inner child, as pure part of yourself that does just emotionally connect automatically to what loves and nurtures and supports you. This is the dreamer. This is the individual who just is, I always look at it as the true innocent version of ourselves, before we were told that what we loved, what we dreamed about was not good, or it was stupid, or it was naive, those kinds of things. It's that part of ourselves. And the Three of Swords speaks to freeing that inner part of yourself from the pain of the past, from the thoughts, from the wounds that in our mental space tell us we're not good enough, that we're not lovable, that, whatever it is, you failed the last time, so you're going to fail this time. There's a sense of kind of like freeing your inner child from that pain. And that's what you're moving on from over here, is the Three of Swords. You're finally moving on from those times that were difficult. Maybe even that one catalytic moment that sent you into this very, very focused place for yourself. And on the other side of that is going to be freedom, liberation, the freedom of your fiery, passionate self, and melding that. I'd be curious to see now if Temperance is going to come in here, because there's a sense of really melding fire and water together, which is melding your passion, or tempering your passion with your emotions into something new. You're alchemizing them into a new way of living your life. And as I say that, here's Temperance. Okay, wow, sometimes you can't make this up. So there we go, guys. Yes, definitely Temperance. So yes, you're alchemizing the two together to really understand that your emotions don't put out your fire, meaning that when we feel emotions, that doesn't actually make our passions burn less. It actually can, again, almost like when you think of pouring water on something and the steam comes out, you could be hardening, almost alchemizing your passions into something new, into a new wand that's even harder than the rest. And I love it that it's coming up with the Death card, because there's a sense of releasing an old version of yourself. With death, when we think about having to become something new, or even having to create something new, what we're aware of in our physical environment is that something must be transformed. Matter is not destroyed. It's just transformed into something different. It's like energy. Energy cannot be gotten rid of. It literally is transformed into something else. And so there's a sense of that here, of like having to regain a new version of yourself, almost having to like throw off like a shed an old skin, and come out as this new. And I just get the feeling, I keep seeing like somebody taking an iron, out of the fire and putting it into the water, and the steam comes out, but you're realizing that that iron is stronger and hotter. Yes, it had to go into the fire. Yes, it had to be burned. Yes, it went through all that difficult time. But now what's been forged is something completely new. And for many of you, that could even be scary. And here you are, Knight of Wands. That's on justice. That's saying it's time for you to claim your birthright of who you are. The optimistic adventurer, Sagittarius. It's time. And then we also have the Queen of Wands. I love it. So we have the Queen of Wands, and we have the Knight of Wands. There's a sense of melding these two in. The Knight of Wands is someone who goes out, someone who takes action. The Knights are movement. And the Queens, they can be more stationary. Again, they're more receptive. But it's like melding these two together, that's potent. That's someone who is like a Scarlet character from Gone with the Wind. She can be thrown into any situation and she just keeps going. She shows up as she is. She's going to wear her green velvet drapery as the most amazing dress that's ever been made. And she's going to wear it like she means it. But she's also not afraid to go kind of where the wind takes her as well. So there's a sense of almost getting into that place of true receptivity where things may start coming in for you, and it's time to put yourself in a place of freedom so that you can follow that. This could be a new job opportunity. This could be a new opportunity to move to a new location. This could be a new relationship of love coming in for you that might require you to be a little more free in an area of your life or have a slightly different perspective change. There's definitely a sense of freedom coming in. Now, at the bottom of the deck here, your second underlying energy was the Emperor. Now, the Emperor is going to come up a lot because we are in a time where the North Node and the South Node of the Moon have shifted from Taurus and Scorpio into Aries and Libra. So we are very much focused on the Aries energy, which you have a lot of going on here as well. There's that sense of refocusing on the I am. There's a sense of really looking at how can we put ourselves first in relationship type dynamics. And there's also just a sense of really getting into that place of initiation. But with the Emperor, there's a greater sense of that feeling of truly ascending to your throne, stepping into that place of autonomy within your own life and saying, this is what I want and no one can take it from me. This is what I want to build and no one can tell me I can't build it. This is what I want to experience and no one's going to stop me from having that experience. It's the true element of freedom. Freedom comes from within first. It's not our external environment and how free we are there. It's our perspective of how free are you to experience what you want in any given moment. Now, the Two of Pentacles. We have the Chariot and we have the Moon and the Hanged Man. Very interesting. So the Chariot came out first. There's a sense of movement, of wanting to move forward, of wanting to get in that chariot. Emperor gets in the chariot. And he's the one that finally is like, okay, ready to go. Let's start moving again towards what ultimately feels like home for myself. That's what the chariot represents, movement. Now, for some of you, this could literally be movement. This could be moving someplace else. You have a lot of cards of moving. The chariot and the Six of Swords, this could be a sense of actually where you are looking to move home, move to a new job, move to something new like that. The Moon and the Hanged Man. For some of you, it's almost like seeing something in a new perspective, seeing the unknown in a new way. Meaning this might be where there's a chance to finally get to that place of optimism again, of hopefulness, of maybe where before with the Moon coming in where things were unclear and there was a little, I don't know if I want to go there again. I don't know if I can do that. There was a sense of, again, the unknown being scary. Now it's almost like what I don't know, that's the big adventure. I feel the call, I hear the call, and with the Hanged Man, that's seeing things in a new perspective. There's a sense here saying, I see that maybe there's a whole world out here that I didn't know about, and I'm ready to go. But it has to be prioritized. We can't be ready to go and still be, in the house balancing, it's to be like saying, okay, well, we got to pack, we got to get everything in the car, and we got to, pull out of the driveway and start on that adventure. And you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to pack a little every day while I'm also doing all my other things. And every day, all the other little things get in the way of you finishing packing. There's a sense here of really having to look at that for yourself and say, what is it in my day-to-day that I can stop prioritizing to help me get back into the driver's seat of my life? Now, with the Princess of Cups, we have the Four of Wands. I love that. That is a firm foundation. That could, for some of you, this could be a relationship. This could be a marriage. There could be something here where you might be kind of maybe reconnecting, even with a partner that might be bringing this out in you. But there could be something here where that Page of Cups might yearn for this Four of Wands, and they might yearn for that beautiful foundation built from a place of passion. And that's what I get a feeling that many of you are going out into the world to discover. That's the next journey of your soul. It's finding the Ten of Cups. And the Hermit with the Four of Wands, I think for many of you, the Hermit is where you go within. There's that soul-seeking quality. It's finding what you uniquely shine out into the world. It's also reconnecting with that great dream or hope, the star that seems so far away from us, but finding it from within. And learning, I think for many of you, you're realizing the foundation that you want to build from what you have to shine, or the foundation that will support that part of yourself. It's a beautiful energy. The Hermit is also a card of Virgo, so there's that sense of discernment, that sense of healing that comes through with the energy of Virgo as well. Very, very beautiful. Okay, let's see what else for the Three of Swords. We have Seven of Wands and the Page of Wands. Yeah. This is defending your right to play. So you officially have like a side. We don't have the King of Wands, but when I think about it, the Emperor like trumps the King of Wands. He's like the ultimate King of Wands. So you have you have all the fire on here. You have the Queen of Wands, you have the Knight of Wands, and now you have the Page of Wands. It's almost like you're regressing. You're going back here. Down the line. And there's a sense with the Page of Wands coming in, that's the innocent child at play. That's the person who wants to just go out there and have fun with what they love. And there's a sense of having to, with the Seven of Wands, defend that part of yourself, defend your right to play, defend your right to maybe even be seen as a little naive. For others of you, if this is around children in your life, there could be a sense of actually, maybe defending your child's right to do this. Maybe you're working with your child going through this itself. But I think for most of you, this is actually honoring and freeing your inner child, both emotionally. It's almost like you're going from a higher level of self. And don't get me wrong, that this is not meant to sound insulting. This is meant to sound liberating. It's almost like you're peeling back the layers of the hard adult you had to become as you went through whatever you went through, no matter what age you are. You could be 25 and feel like you had to go through all of life's hard knocks. But no matter what age you are, there's a sense of having to peel back those hardened layers of becoming an adult. And it's like suddenly the innocent child emerges with your emotions intact, that innocence intact, with your sense of play and freedom intact. And now you get to release that part of yourself out into the world again. It's almost like there's a sense of like giving birth, rebirthing yourself, which is beautiful. It's a beautiful sense because that version of yourself almost gets to go at it again, gets to go out there to find that Ten of Cups upright for yourself. So you have Two of Pentacles again at the heart of or as your third underlying energy. So there's definitely that sense here coming through of looking at the day-to-day, looking at where maybe you're giving over your autonomy to your schedule, where you're disconnected, or where you're just stuck in a routine. We all get into that place where it's like, yeah, but this is comfortable. Yeah, but this is feels good. It's not bad. Nine of Pentacles is a great place to be sitting in. But there's that sense of, what is the empire you want to build? What is the experience? What does your inner child yearn for? What's out there in the unknown that excites you with the possibilities of it? With just the pure, plain possibilities of it. Sagittarius. Okay, so we have, as your final card here, says Divine Grace, the Law of Efficiency, number 32, breaking down to the number 5 in numerology, which is the number of change. That's the shake-up number. The number of change, it can be change, freedom through change, but it could just be change, just changing things up. And that change can actually just be how you're changing your day-to-day experience. Okay, let's see what it says here. It says, it is time your life became easier. It is time for you to walk the way of divine grace with trust, simplicity, and acceptance. You do not have to try to make things happen. You can gracefully act without attachment and trust that all will be as it is meant to be. Surrender your struggles now as you allow life to serve you with love and kindness. This is the most efficient use of your energy and will lead to the best results. The law of efficiency encourages us to work smarter rather than always working harder. It is like learning to allow a wave to carry you to shore rather than swimming the entire way with your own efforts alone. And that's kind of what I'm getting here with the Five of Swords. There's a sense of like wanting to like push or go upstream or constantly be fighting against. And it's like the Ten of Cups wants to come in for you, but you're fighting to maintain its lack. So anyways, I'll continue. Or even against the current, which would make the journey even harder. It is like planting a seed at the right time so nature will help it bloom in the spring, rather than planting it during the dead of winter when it takes a lot of effort to keep it alive. And even then it may not survive. This is the intelligence of the law of efficiency and divine grace at work. To hitch your wagon to the universe in this way, you need to learn to listen. This means tuning into what feels right or wrong at any given time. Sometimes you'll want to push forward, yet your intuitive knowing will guide you to rest. Sometimes you'll want to hide from a challenge, and yet know in your bones it is time to step up and shine with boldness despite the fear you feel. The universe has a sense of natural flow, cycles, and timing that assures us that it supports every dream we dare to dream, and that everyone can come to fruition in due course. It may not look exactly as you expect, but if you have set it in motion with desire and intention, karmic law will ensure that it finds expression. For this to happen in the most loving, graceful, and easy way, you must learn to hear, feel, and sense the currents of life and work with them rather than push against them. This is about common sense, allowing yourself to be helped, not making things more difficult for yourself than they need to be. Imagine that you have a chance to share a feeling of love in a room full of receptive people. The time is right, they are open, and your efforts create the maximum effect for love's success. Or you could expend the same amount of time and energy by arguing with one disinterested person in an attempt to get them to understand and receive your love, even though they actually have no interest in doing so. They just wish to have their own point of view and for you to agree with that. Whew, sorry guys, I just stepped away for a second. I just had to catch my breath. Okay. It says one is working with the law of efficiency and the other is working against the tide of life. It is not bad to choose the harder way. Sometimes it can be a great learning experience. But you are being encouraged with this oracle to explore the easier and more graceful way more often, especially at this time in your life, because there's a helping hand, a natural wave of energy in life that is going to be able to support your rising spirit in manifesting something truly beautiful and special in the world. The law of efficiency is also sometimes known as the path of least resistance. We must find the strength that comes from letting go and trusting that the universe knows what it is doing. It takes spiritual maturity to cede to wisdom greater than your own immediate understanding. Then you are surfing the wave rather than swimming against the current. How efficient to work with life and its cycles, rather than believing you must struggle and strain to be heard, loved, rewarded, and inspired. You have that maturity within you. Trust now. Trust that all will come in time. Beautiful end to your reading here, Sagittarius. This is a beautiful reading in and of itself. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. If you'd like to book a personal reading, to take a look at what your soul would most like to illuminate for you at this time, to shed light in an area of your life that you would like to gain a little more insight, you can click on the link in the description box below. Otherwise, I will see you all in your next reading. Bye, Sagittarius.